Hi, I'm theciaellis, and welcome to This Grandma's Life. Okay, well, I've got probably in the next 24 hours or so, I'm going to be basically disappearing. I don't know. I'm disappearing from my friends. I love my friends, don't get me wrong, but I kind of needed to get away for a while. I'll explain some more to you as we go, but I was going over Hudson Lake. It's beautiful, and I'm pulling into Salina, and I was looking for a place to pull over so that I could show you how beautiful it is, and I can't. I'll show you why. There's a big levee in the way, but I found something else that looks cool too. Basically, this is a weekend, a little bit of camping, some hiking, and some exploring. So let's get started. This is the levee I was telling you about. And it goes all the way there. And it is a truly beautiful lake on the other side. I just can't figure out how to get to it to show you how beautiful it is. You're going over a bridge. Now maybe on the way back I can do it because there were the bridge is right there. And on the side that I was coming down, there was not a place to pull over. But on the other side, there was, because people fish off this bridge. But while I was looking for an outing, I ran into this. The Shoto Trading Post, in memory of Willard and Lois Vance. Okay, but this is neat. I'll look at that here in a minute. But I was looking. This is something else that caught my eye. Look at this old log home. And you know what? You think about living in a log home, and I have thought about it in the past. We were going to build one. It wasn't going to be this small, but look, there's the bed, which looks pretty crappy because it's just bars on here. Oh, I maybe see if I can get it better. No, I can get it. There we go. Look, this is basically what people lived in. I don't know that they had all the jewelry and stuff, but it's just neat. At the same time, I'm really glad that I don't live like this. Sometimes I fantasize about living something along this line. And here's another shelf here, and this is where the stove was down there. And a lantern. Oh, there's 2 or 3 lanterns in here. I don't know. It's just really neat. I was glad to kind of run across this. Okay, so I arrived at Natural Falls, and I saw my campsite, and it's pretty here, but there's no electricity. So I'm gonna city slicker it and go to a motel and come back. But I want to show you what I'm about to cross over here. This little stream goes right across the road. I don't think you can see it very good. It looks like we're going to go up on Ghost Coon Trail. Can you see that? There we go. Didn't think I was going to make it up this gravel hill. Look at the beautiful trees all around us. There's supposed to be some yurts up here ahead, so we'll check that out. And then we'll go find a motel, hopefully. I'm coming back down the hill. It's bumpy, sorry. But here's the creek that went across the road. All right, I got the motel room. I have to admit, I was glad I got it. I sat there for an hour or so getting some much needed video editing done. I am so far behind on editing, it's not even funny, and I've got to plug and get it done. So I got that done, and now it's time to go exploring. I'm at Natural Falls State Park today. I'm hoping to catch other couple places on this trip, but we're going to get started on this one this evening. It's still hot. I think I saw, I don't know if it's accurate, but it was 93 degrees outside. There's plenty of trees. I should be fine, but let's go see what we got to see. And here's my trusty map. I'm not planning on getting lost, and nobody does. And this is a state park, so there's plenty of other people that are going to be around but I brought a backpack with some water and stuff anyway. Apparently you can rent side-by-sides while you're here. This is the first place we're going to do. It says Dripping Springs Interpretive Trail, but it also says a scenic waterfall. So let's go see what that's all about. You can hear the water. Oh look, I think we're above the falls here. Oh, that's what I'm hearing. Very cool. Look how clear this water is. I hope you can see how clear it is. How pretty. Neat. That's the bridge I just got off over there. And the water coming through here. There's that bridge again. And look at this beauty. Look how beautiful that is. You got the falls there. There's another bridge up there. Oh, there's a yurt in the distance. And then there's that place down here and another bridge over there. So it looks like we've got several trails to follow. In the distance, I can hear the howling of a teenage boy howling howler monkey. They're not monkeys, they're just teenage boys pretending to be monkeys. They're funny. Almost a cave over there, and you can see extra little bits of water falling in other places, and there's some more over here. Let me go check this out. I don't know if I can better, but there's some more dripping on this side. Fascinating. Oh, and there's a view of where we were when we were on top. I have to admit, I'm confused. I'm seeing all kinds of trails on the map. I'm not finding them. And every place I go, it always says authorized vehicles only. And I never did find that other bridge. I'm not sure which way to go now. The silhouette of Bigfoot up there. How funny. Right down there on the horizon in front of the telephone pole. How funny. I did find another trail anyway. Let's go check this one out. This one says it says Smokehouse, 1975, built by David Gadiant and Sons. You know what? On Tom's grandpa's property. Now his smokehouse didn't look nearly as good as this. It was definitely dilapidated, but you can still see, and it was about this size. Maybe not quite this big, but this is neat. And look at all the wood. I mean, that looks definitely original. Of course, this chinking is not, but that's very cool. Well, I had something interesting since the last time I've turned off the camera. Well, before I did the smokehouse, I met a couple. And, of course, they had dogs. And, you know, guys know I miss my dogs desperately. And it was really cool because I was able to actually visit with these people and pet their dogs. and I didn't cry. I was on what they call the heart healthy trail, but it's all like this. And look, I found a bear trail. That doesn't mean we're going to find bears, but it's a new trail through the woods. You know what they say, leaves of three, leave them be. This one's a little more challenging. Not stairs like the other one. Gotta pay attention to what I'm doing. But it is, as usual, beautiful. It looks like this trail goes in different directions. I get the feeling that one goes back in the direction, because I can hear the falls back in that direction. And then there's another trail that goes across here, and it actually goes over that huge log. But that goes down further. And this actually is pretty precarious. The rocks keep rolling with me, and I'm just not that brave. Oh yeah, see, here's another one that goes down. Oh, maybe it doesn't go over the log. It goes down adjacent to the log. Okay, that's pretty neat. But then where I came down was up this trail, but there's another one this way. I think I'm going to go this way a little bit to see what it looks like. At least for a little ways, is not as steep, but these rocks have made it very slippery. I can see where the one by where the log was goes right down into there. Here's another Y. This is the path I'm thinking about going, but I think when I come back, if I have to come back this direction, instead of going down that way, maybe if I can go back up that way, unless there's a different exit. We'll find out. I see another bridge down there, and I can see where the river goes down through that way, but I'm also seeing that it's getting darker, and I saw the sign that said the gates close at dusk. So, like it or not, I better get back up the hill. Well, as you can tell, I made it back up to the top of the hill, and yes, that second route was much better. And it's interesting because I met another dog, and what I find interesting about it is the first set of dogs I met, one of them, they said they'd only had him a few weeks from a shelter, and this other one that I met he had just gotten that one from a shelter too. And of course, both of the dogs were very wary of other people and stuff, and I understand that. I completely understand a dog coming out of a situation where they need to be put in a shelter and probably has been abused in one form or another, or nothing, minimally neglected. But you don't trust people when you get hurt like that on a regular basis. And so I respected them, and both dogs made friends with me, and I was grateful for that. I got a good sweat going. I hope it's not too dark underneath here. It's because it's funny, when I got to the top of the hill, I thought, it's not dusk yet, because I came out of the ravine. It was getting dark down in the ravine, but I've still got plenty of time up here. I just don't know if I'm going to take it. I needed this walk. I wanted to take this walk. I'm hoping to find some more, not tonight, but probably tomorrow, and enjoy what I love. I love eastern Oklahoma. I love it. I love the green trees and the grass and the waterfalls and the creeks, and I just love it here. I'm so grateful to be in this beautiful state. This is interesting, and there are frogs in here. You can hear them jumping occasionally. Sometimes you can even see one. Very cool. I don't know what this is, but it almost looks like this was planted here for this reason. I'm moving around, so I'm hoping I can flush some more out. Maybe not, because they went to the thick stuff. Because this is concrete all around. I mean, I'm wondering what the deal is here. But the good news is, I bet the frogs are keeping the mosquitoes under control. Very cool. Well, sorry about all the lighting. In the motel room, it's one of those things where you just you do with what you got. And I've taken a shower because I was sweaty. But I want to talk to you a little bit and tell you why I'm here. And I may not be able to talk about all of it all at once, but it's been a rough week. It's been a rough year, over a year, almost a year. Life started getting pretty rough, I guess, in November of last year. So we're talking 10 months now, and then it really got bad in February. But it's that. Although Tom has not bothered me in person, he's doing all kinds of stuff. He's doing he's making life pretty rough, and it's going to be really rough for him when it all catches up to him, and that hurts my heart. Um, I can't do anything for him, and he just hurt us really bad, and I think I'm going to come out okay in the end. But man, it's been a long trek. What makes it have been kind of a bad week, well, first of all, I had found out more stuff about Tom. I've been finding out crazy stuff, and I know I keep saying that, but oh my goodness. And then Monday, my daughter-in-law called me and had me pick her up. She was in a homeless state again, and I was taking her to another shelter again, and that was 4 hours of my day that I wasn't planning on doing. Of course, I would do it for her anytime she needs it. I hate that she needs it. I hate that she makes the choices that she does to need it, but it appears I'm the only one in the whole world she can count on, and it's nothing against anybody else. We've all got such lives, you know. Kinsey, her own daughter, she is she's doing full-time school along with cheerleading, and has a job to cover her car expenses and everything. And I'm sorry, I'm stumbling. It's been rough. I really needed this time out in the woods. And tomorrow I'm going to find some other places to go on the way home. And I'm looking forward to it, honestly. But I sitting out by the falls was very helpful. I would have recorded while I was down there about talking, but you know, falls make noise and stuff, and it was one thing for me to tell you how beautiful it is and show different things to you, but it's another thing to have these heart to heart with you, you know. And another thing is Tom's Aunt Frankie. I guess I may have told you I get to watch her. I was watching her every Thursday, and because she's 92 now. Well, just this week she started declining pretty rapidly, and I love her dearly. And that's one of those things that you go, you know, you don't want them to suffer, but you don't want them to die too. So, and of course, by the time this comes out, I'm so far behind on editing and getting out. I have no idea what's going to change by the time this comes out. But this is what it is today as I'm talking to you. One last thing about the Tom situation. I think that's part of the reason I'm okay with telling you this to you now, because it's likely it'll be over by the time this. But I've had several people tell me that when this does catch up with Tom, who could be a murder-suicide situation. So I've been having to take some steps this week to, ever since he has mentally declined, I've had to take, he's got the gun. I don't even have a gun. I've had to do other things to take steps to protect myself and stuff. This week I also added to it, just in case, I gave my pastor some phone numbers of family to contact if needed. So, and I felt at peace after doing that, and I still do. But and I've started a new job, and I kind of like the new job, but you know how it is when you're trying to learn a new job. It's just stressful. So that's been kind of my week and kind of my life for a while. And for a long time, I couldn't tell you about Tom, because there's something in the divorce papers was, don't put things on social media and stuff like that. And I believe it was an interpretation of parents with children who were fighting over the children. They were putting pictures up of the children and stuff. And so the divorce, my lawyer's papers, put it that way, had stated that he doesn't want us doing that. So I've been trying to be pretty good about it for a time. But when he didn't show up to court a couple of weeks ago, or whenever it was, I was annoyed. And I put up with a lot out of that man. I put up with a lot out of the judicial system, long waits for court dates. And then when the court dates come and Tom doesn't show up, I was annoyed. And I thought, you know what? If he can do all the crap he's doing, I can tell you what's going on a little bit. And I will, as I go, tell you. I think when it's over, I will give you this full story. But right now, you just need to know that he's mentally not there enough that I no longer call him Tom. I call him Mr. Ellis, because that man is not Tom. Therefore, he's not my husband. All right. I want to remind you that I also have a podcast called Books Highlighted. And I love this podcast. It's really cool. And what's kind of interesting about this whole thing, because the one book that I have, a more recent book that I have done was When Is It Right to Die by Johnny Erickson Tada. And most of you are probably not old enough to know who she is, but you should look her up, Joni Erickson Tada. And she broke her neck when she was a teenager, and struggled through life in a wheelchair. But she ended up marrying a really nice man. I think she's still married. She's getting into life now, though. She's getting older. I don't know what's going on with her, but her book, When Is It Right to Die, I read it whenever my dad was. I thought he was at the end of his life, and I mean, he still is, but he's still kicking. One way or another, you do come to a point where you go, oh, they're suffering. You really don't want them to suffer, but you don't really want them to die. And I'm talking about the elder part of it. And because Frankie is coming to that part of it, this book, When Is It Right to Die, is actually really good. Some of the other books I do on Books Highlighted is just a novel, and the only thing I usually highlight on those is really good descriptives, how they describe the weather, or a flower, or a house or something. And so that's what I usually do it. But on books like that one, I highlight things that I find helpful, useful, and I'm learning something. So I would encourage you to check out Books Highlighted podcast, and particularly if you are interested in that particular book, you can go get the book. It's old though, but it's on the I think it's episode 28. I can't remember, but that's a good one to listen to. All right, guys, it's been a good day. I needed that walk. That falls is beautiful, and I'm not going to lie to you. I'm probably going to tell you almost every time how much I love Eastern Oklahoma. God bless, guys. Live until you die. See you next time.